What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hammerdown Motorsports. Today behind me we have the 2022 F350 Platinum, and if you guys bought your new truck from Ford in 2022, you probably noticed a few things that I noticed, and that something is underneath the truck. And more strikingly than anything that you see right away is the front drive shaft, which is left bare metal from the factory and it's probably got a lot of surface rust on it by now, like mine does. Also, there are a few other little spots underneath that they didn't really get, and we're going to get into that. We're going to get the truck up in the air and see how rusty your brand new, well, I mean, depending on your dealer markup, closer to $100,000 truck is from the factory. This applies to all the Super Duty models. I'm not sure about the F-150s, but we're going to talk about Super Duty today and just kind of see what they left bare metal and what you might want to address. Plus, we have a brand new product to show you guys today to see how we can kind of prevent a little bit of this surface rust going on underneath our trucks. And the product we're going to be trying out today is this sample from It. This is stainless steel in a can. It's anti-corrosive and weldable, and basically it's just that. It's stainless steel paint from what I know, and we're going to spray this onto our rusty surfaces, and hopefully this gives us a very nice coating that's going to keep it from rusting further and just overall give us a very nice aesthetic underneath the truck, because, well, when you have a brand new truck, you don't want to be all rusty right out of the gate. And also underneath this truck, we do have one more new component under here already installed, but we're going to be doing that in another video coming up very soon, the testing of our double steering shock in the front from Rough Country, which looks absolutely amazing. And I gotta say, just on a side note, replacing the shocks on your Super Duty is a very, very good thing to do. It rides so much better with these new shocks, and these are fairly inexpensive. They're not like crazy money or anything like that, but the ones that came from the factory, they are, well, in my opinion, not the greatest thing in the world. So if you want to improve your ride, shocks, definitely a good place to start. All right, so the truck's in the air. Let's have a look at our front differential. As you can see, we do have our new steering stabilizer shocks looking absolutely amazing underneath this truck. But let's have a look over here at our spindle. And you can see right away, you can see some bare metal right there on the knuckle, and yeah, there's a little bit of surface rust already starting on it. And as we go over to the other side, you can see the same kind of thing going on over here, so we're gonna have to touch that up as well. As far as everything else in the front, I mean, it looks fairly decent. Front diff cover and all of that. The front tubes are fairly well coated. And as we go around to the back, you can see our drive shaft right here is quite rusty. And then if you go over here, well, hey, that's not rusty. Why is that? Well, that is a little test spot I did with the It, just so I could give you guys kind of an idea of what it looks like when it's dry. So we'll spin it a little bit here. And there you can see the bare metal that the factory gives us with our front drive shafts. And yeah, this is gonna get really, really rusty very, very easily, as you can see. But back to where we touched it up with the It, I didn't do any prep or any of that. I just wanted to give it kind of the worst case scenario, just spraying right over top of the surface rust and seeing how well it holds up over time. But you can see how well that really went on there. It laid really flat, no runs, anything like that. And it gives you a nice, kind of almost a satin finish. And it really kind of is exactly what you're gonna find on the back here. This is a little bit more of a matte, but they did paint the rear drive shaft, but not that little spot right there. But I really don't know why the front drive shaft was left completely raw, but we're gonna correct that today. So now we'll move to the rear suspension here. You can see the axle tube on this side. It looks kind of a lot like it's been in the equipment when they installed it, and kind of scraped up what paint that was there. So we're going to touch that up as well. And you can see over here, they did paint the drive shaft, but over here, our straps and our yoke on our diff is definitely a little bit on the crusty side, so we can get that touched up as well. And you can see kind of the same deal over here on the front side. Definitely doesn't look all that appealing, so we're gonna get that all nicely squared away with our It product. And as we go to the rear of the truck, our diff cover is good. We got a little bit of mud on this thing, but in the back, it's not, I wouldn't say it's terrible in any way, but any kind of little spots that we see, we're just gonna touch up and make this thing a lot more presentable. All right, so now I've pretty much exhausted every little ounce of paint that was left in this can. Here it's pretty empty. I'm gonna have to get some more of this stuff because it definitely laid down really nicely. Very happy with the way everything is looking so far. Give you guys a quick look in comparison to what we had before. You can see now everything is nicely covered. I imagine if you go through and you want to really get picky, you're probably going to notice a couple little spots here and there that need to be touched up. But for what we did as a once over, I've got pretty near everything that was really sticking out here, all nicely covered. And especially our front drive shaft, look at that. Now we've got some nice coverage over that bare metal that the factory left us. I mean, I'm not sure if they're short on paint or what the reason behind that was, but getting that cleaned up is definitely a nice added touch, because every time I would get in the truck, I could see through the wheel well right up there. And yeah, it looked terrible. So now we got some of the other stuff cleaned up here as well on the drive shaft. Got our yoke painted. We got all of those imperfections from the factory here on the tubes all covered up. The end of the axle tubes, that was all raw, nicely painted now. This side as well, everything looking really nice and factory. So I think we all can agree that it probably should have been this way from the factory, but this is the way we get them from Ford. So I'm just kind of giving you guys the overview of what your truck looks like underneath if you haven't had the opportunity of getting it up on a lift and kind of seeing all the bare metal that is under these things from factory. And Steal It is a great product. So far, I have no complaints at all with how it goes down, how it looks when it's all dry. It looks absolutely awesome underneath the truck. So we're gonna see how this all kind of takes the salt, takes all the abuse that we're gonna give this truck. Well, it's kind of a pavement princess, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna give this truck a whole lot of abuse, but just kind of being on the road and being in the elements is just going to be a testament to how this holds up over some kind of little bit surface rust, bare metal that we just kind of shot it on to see how it goes. So big thanks to Steal It for sending me out this sample to try out on the truck. And I'm definitely be getting more of this stuff because honestly, I'm really happy the way everything laid down. And if you want to do any rust protection, I mean, I've used Pour 15, which worked fine, but this stuff, I mean, I don't know. I think it's the whole idea that it's stainless steel in a can just sounds really appealing to me. And if we all know anything about stainless steel, it's not supposed to rust. So hopefully that's going to be the case with our truck and going to keep it looking new for a long time to come. So if you guys want to check out their product, I will have a link in the description. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And as always, keep that hammer down.